Hi everyone, how have you all been? I'll be honest, I didn't know if I was going to be doing this live stream because I just uploaded my Snow White video about an hour ago now, and funny thing about that, I actually was working on the Snow White video since 3 o'clock in the morning, like AM, 3 AM. And I was working on the Snow White video at 3 a.m., meaning I was recording my voiceover. And from that point on, I have not gone to sleep. I have been awake all the way till 3 in the morning. I edited the video, and now it is 11 o'clock at night, 11:06 to be exact, and I still haven't gone to sleep. Big Bass says, do you get any rest at all, Eric? I do. This is just one of those very rare days where I've stayed up and I've not gone to sleep yesterday. So I've stayed up for basically 2 days. I've not gone to sleep, which is bizarre. Normally you feel like you want to go to sleep. The G Gamer says, didn't know that. Hope you feel better. No. I'm not ill or anything. I was just very, very busy. I wanted to get that Snow White video out as soon as I could, so I was working on it. As late as I could. So yeah, what was it, about 11 o'clock I took a half-hour nap. 11 o'clock at night. This is before I worked on the videos, when I came back from watching Snow White yesterday. And then yeah, I stayed up all the way till the morning, all the way till now, which is 11 o'clock at night. So yeah, I've not slept. So I was actually thinking, should I even do this live stream for a second? Because I was just really, like, you could just tell I can still stay awake, but you can just tell that you need to either chill, because all day today I was working on my on the Snow White video, and I was putting so much hard work into it, you wouldn't believe. Like, this is some of the hardest. This is like the hardest I've worked. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because that video, literally, I'm still awake right now from when I recorded it. So when you heard the voiceover you hear in the review, I still haven't gone to sleep since that voice recording and since the editing of this whole video. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah. It didn't take me all night, Josh, man, to get the video out. It took me all day. It was essentially about a 19-hour editing job. And in that time, I've already went to the cinema and I watched Snow White, and then I, did everything I did. So I took my notes down for the Versus video. Interestingly, though, I've not actually written, like, the Versus video yet because I've been busy with this. I will show you, though, this. I know, guys, you're saying I need some sleep. I do. I was actually thinking of cancelling the live stream, then I thought, no, you know what, I'll do it. So, yeah. Yeah, so basically I'm just reading some of your comments. So, yeah, what you'll see right here, this is a microphone. I just got this recently because I was thinking, usually I use this. You can see the microphone right here. I use this. It's the Rode NT USB microphone, and I use that to usually record all my videos, and I'm using it right now for this live stream. However, there's times at night where I am not able to record my voice on this because everyone else in the house is asleep. So, I can't do late night recording sessions, even though it would be very helpful if I could do late night recording sessions. That way I can, work on the video at night. So I thought, you know what, I need to get some portable recorder so I can go downstairs maybe and just close myself inside the laundry room or something and record my audio that way. So believe it or not, the audio that you heard in that Snow White video I just put up about an hour ago was recorded with this. It's called the Zoom H1 Essential. So if you thought the audio sounded different in that video, it's because it is different. It came from this. But of course, you get a lot of, like, plosives that happen, which is when the microphone gets blown out when you have, like, say, like, the P word or something, or the letter P comes into the microphone. So this is a, like a foam pop shield, basically. For some reason, the pop shield that I got, the microphone is still sensitive to all the plosives and things, so what I did is I put two of them on, and then 2 wasn't quite doing it, then I put 3 on. So now I just hold it at like this level, and that's a good enough level for me to record my voice at, and it picks up my voice. So yeah. Chris says, what's the point of this stream? Just Snow White flopping? Pretty much. And not only that, it's of course to spend time with you guys and chat with you, but right now the hot story is Snow White and its box office performance, and we'll be talking about that. But yeah, it's also, I didn't have time to set up the whole stream because I was, like I said, I was just exhausted. I just finished editing and uploading the video, and plus YouTube has got some new monetization policies and things, so it is annoying as heck to actually get your videos monetized on YouTube now. That's like a whole additional process now, because YouTube now manually has a bot which automatically puts ads in there for you at silent points of the video, but as you would expect, the bot doesn't work properly and YouTube does not place ads in places that it should, so I had to go through and tell it exactly where to put the ads, and it had to check to say, let me see if there's no, like, if I'm not interrupting anything in your video. So yeah, ultimately they did let me do a bunch of ads, but it also did not, so I had to remove a bunch. It's a whole process, I won't bore you with it. But yeah, I was incredibly busy with that. So yeah. Let's see. It's great to see all of you again. The G Gamer, Trevor, Chris Thompson, Batman's Gamer, Joshman, Logan, Saeed, Chris Thompson. Chris, I've already said you. The Dark Lord, Goat, Movie King 3000, Deadwall, Fireboy. Great to see you, buddy. It's great to see all of you. I always love seeing all of you every week. So this will probably not be as long of a stream. We'll make it an hour-long stream instead of a 2-hour-long stream. Yeah, because I've been very just getting tired, and I need to get some rest. I know I need to. So yeah, G-Gamer says, hey Eric, I was trying to send you a message about an animated short I wanted to commission for you to watch and react. Didn't know you were busy with the video. Yeah, I was. I was editing the video all that time. So I'm sorry, if you sent me a message, I probably haven't read it. For that very reason. I'll try to do it tomorrow morning. I'll try to read it because I'm, like I said, I'm just kind of exhausted. So after this, I'm going to chill. I'm going to get a green tea or something. And then I'm going to, get some rest. And hopefully tomorrow will be a fresh, brand new day. I will say, though, so by the way, give this live stream a thumbs up if you can. And if you haven't, please do give that Snow White video a thumbs up as well. Because like I said, I've spent so much time working on it. And I would really appreciate it if that video could really get out there. So your thumbs ups really help, and commenting on the video as well. And if you want to, you can share the video too. That's if you want to, but that will also help it get more reach. Logan says, isn't it like 2 AM in your country? No, close though. It's 11:13 PM. So we're getting close to the AMs. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. So yeah. But yeah, G-Gamer, don't worry. I'll get in touch with that whenever you want to, and then I will do a reaction to it. So yeah, also I've reacted to episode 3 of Daredevil on my Patreon a few days ago, and I'm going to react to episode 4 very soon, and it'll be up there as well for you guys to watch. I will be releasing edited down versions on the YouTube channel, so you will be able to see edited down versions, but if you want to see my full reaction, including my full thoughts on it, it's on my Patreon and YouTube memberships. So yeah, Goat says, in my country it's 12:13 AM. Ooh, wow. Yeah, Saeed says Eid is next week. Oh, Eid, well, it's not time to say it yet. I'll say that closer to next week. G-Gamer says, don't make him watch anything like Megamind again, says Gamersaw. Yeah, it's okay, it feels like after a while the pain kind of subsides, so you're okay afterwards. Yeah, the Time Shadow says, oh yeah, Eric, on the subject. Thanks, buddy. I did have a look through it, but I didn't write notes. You did a very good job with that. You actually put in a lot of beautiful little touches that I wouldn't have even thought of, like when you referenced the previous Let's Watch and everything. So, beautiful job. Absolutely wonderful. I do have some notes, but I have way less notes compared to the first time, you gave it in. So, really, bravo. Very well done. I'm very, very impressed. But like I said, I had to get ready to watch the Snow White animated movie, then I had to go and see the Snow White live action movie. then I came back and did all this editing. So you've seen the quality of my new Snow White video and the thumbnail that I did. So it was a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. So that's why I have not replied back to any of you guys with regards to, your like G Gamer and yourself. Also, I had to edit the video. Guess what? I had to edit the video with a broken mouse. This mouse right here is the mouse that I usually use. It's a Logitech MX Master 2S is what it is. And this is my editing mouse. This is the mouse that I use to edit videos with. And unfortunately, I don't know what's going on. It's just it wore out or something. Basically, when you move your mouse around, it's supposed to immediately move as you're moving the mouse. Your cursor is supposed to move as you move the mouse, but it doesn't. It's like it just stops, and then if I move it a little bit, the mouse goes all over the screen, and I can't edit with this, so I'm kind of in a bit of a pickle with that. I need to get a new mouse, so that was one of the reasons I was actually thinking, should I even do this live stream? 'Cause setting it up with all I've got is this really old trackpad that I had from when I was younger, and having to use this, it was not easy. It was really, really hard, and actually quite painful actually to use that. You got to put a lot of effort on it because, like I said, it's very old and not working as well. So yeah, that was quite difficult. I actually didn't know if I was going to be able to get that thumbnail done because, like I said, I was just having a hard time with the mouse. So I wanted to get the video out of the Snow White video I just did, but I was like, I don't think I can get it out with this bloody thing and with this broken mouse. I was like, I don't think I can do that. Now, when will you get... Big Bash says, Eric, when will you get a new mouse? Well, that is kind of the issue. I need to get a new mouse right now. Normally, I would actually hold off and wait before I get a new mouse or get a new whatever because, for funding reasons, you gotta wait. So I was like, you know what? This is one of those times. It's not something I've ever done before, but it's one of the times I thought I would do. Well, where is it? Go on here. It's one of those times where I thought, you know what? How about I ask for help from you guys? Because people have done that when it comes to actually going for help on materials and all that for the YouTube channel. So I thought, you know what? I will have to get the mouse, but I can't afford to do so right now. So that's why I thought I would see if there's you can see right here, I thought instead of doing a commission for a video, I thought I would actually go ask you guys for help on this situation. Electrify, thank you very, very much for your... I forgot, where's my book? You guys see how tired I am. Normally I'm always prepared, I've always got my book with me, but this time I didn't. Jake says, I missed everything here, my bad. Don't worry, Jake. Basically, I was just talking about the fact that I've not slept since 3 in the morning. No, actually, I came back from watching Snow White last night. I stayed up till... Basically, it's like I came back late, watched Snow White, and I stayed up all the way through the morning. I didn't go to sleep. I started editing at 3... I started recording my video at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I stayed awake all the way up now till 11:18 p.m. the next day. So I've stayed up all in one sitting. I essentially edited that 20-minute video of Snow White. So yeah, I've been extremely busy, and I'm pretty much out of it right now. I've not slept for essentially what seems like 2 days. So give me a second. Let me just write that down. Electrify did a $2 super chat. Thank you very much, Electrify. He says, hey Eric, how are you? Have you read my script yet? I got your script, I've not read it yet. Like I said, I've not even responded to emails yet because I've just been editing the Snow White video. So I have not. I'm sorry to say I have not. But anyway, I was just gonna ask you guys. I was gonna say, just as a helping hand, it's entirely up to you guys. If because a mouse is very important to get content edited, so I need a mouse ASAP. We'll just say today, any donations that come, it won't be for me to jot down. It will all go towards the mouse. So any donations you guys do, it will all be towards getting a mouse so I can get back to editing, because tomorrow I need to start writing that Snow White versus video. I'm not editing it just yet, but there's another couple of videos that I am editing for you guys. and I can't do it with this mouse. It's like I barely managed to get the thumbnail and this Snow White video edited today, and right towards the tail end of the editing process and the thumbnail process, the mouse got even worse. So any donations you guys can do to help with that, through, if you do it through Streamlabs, which I've linked in the description and on the pinned comment section, that is basically the budget that I need to get that mouse, a replacement mouse. The G Gamer says, ooh, The Great Mouse Detective. Oh, that really takes me back. The Great Mouse Detective. Yeah, my parents used to watch that when they were younger. Yeah, that was really quite the thing, that was. Yeah, so let's see. Oh, $5 donation from Batman's Gamer. Thank you very much, buddy. He says, how do you feel about Foggy's death and Karen's disappearance? Feels like the old plans for the new show are still here. Because where's Daredevil, bruh? Yeah, I actually talk about that in my video. I talk about it on my Patreon. You can already see, I already talk about it when I'm reacting to the Daredevil Born Again first episode. So it's already there. And I've had that reaction there pretty much since the first week of when Daredevil Born Again came out. So I've already talked about that. However, if you want to see me react to that, I've got a YouTube video coming up, a much more condensed version of that video on Patreon, and you can go ahead and see that. Yeah, don't worry, you'll get a video where you get to see me talk about that. But yes, I do agree with you on that, but that's exactly what I said in the video. Let's see. Joshman says, everybody in the chat, please make sure you donate to Eric so that way he could be able to get himself a brand new mouse. Please do that. Yeah, this is me actually for the first time actually asking for help on getting equipment in, because a mouse is very important. And this is not just any mouse, it's an editing mouse. It helps me get the edits done faster and more competently. Goat says he finished watching Cobra Kai today. Oh, that's great. What do you think of it? What do you think of the ending? Because I thought that was a great ending. Jake, oh, hi, buddy. He says, I just watched The Day the Earth Blew Up in theaters. Great time. Oh, I'm almost jealous. That's a movie that I want to see, but instead I went to go see Snow White. But yeah, it's not available here yet, so we'll see when. Gamersaur says, Eric, do you think sleep is more important than watching this live stream? Sleep is very important, and I've not had it for like 2 days now, right now. However, I just wanted to do a live stream with you guys. I'd never take you guys for granted. So when you guys were asking me on my Snow White video, is a live stream happening today? In fact, yesterday I was so busy that I forgot to even tell you guys there's a live stream tomorrow. What stories do you want to cover? I was just so busy I forgot all about that. So yeah, I did this because I wanted to do this, and because I really value each and every single one of you. So yeah, you guys wanted a live stream, and I was like, all right, I'll give you guys a live stream. So yeah, just looking at the performance on the Snow White video, seeing how it's doing. So yeah. And Eric, we trust for a great live stream, says Gamersaw. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, any donations that you do, it will all go towards the fund to get a brand new mouse. So we'll call this the fundraiser. So yeah, a mouse is very important. I really need a mouse. So any support you guys can give me for that, I would really, really appreciate it. Even right now, as I'm trying to navigate through information for this stream, I'm using this crappy trackpad, which is pretty much broken as well. So yeah, can you talk what's going with the Looney Tunes, Eric? Ask me that during the Q&A, and then I will talk to you about whatever you want to know about that. But right now, in a bit, we're going to talk about Snow White and his box office performance. Movie King made this hilarious. What did he say? Oh, Batman235 says, hi Eric, how are you? I'm doing good, bud. How about yourself? DC09 says, Eric, what is your score for the live-action Snow White? I'm not going to tell you that. The reason why is because you guys know when I do this, whenever I review a movie that I intend to do a versus video for, I always say that I'm going to do gonna give you my score as it is right now, but for the versus video it could very well change. Well, for Snow White, the score instantly came to my head when the movie was over, and that is the score which I think is going. I think the movie's gonna stay at that score. So I'm not gonna tell you. I did not put the score in the video, so it will be in the versus video though. So stay tuned for that. Chris Thompson says Coco 2. Why? That is totally unnecessary. Yeah, Coco 1 was such a masterpiece. I've only seen it once, but I do want to see it again. That was a phenomenal movie. And I don't think that's something that you can just, you know, replace and say, or sorry, not replace, just make a sequel to. So I'm very concerned about that. I don't know how you can top that. However, it's not like Disney haven't made great sequels in the past. You know, the Toy Story movies are very good examples of that. So, well, even though that's Pixar, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm sure Disney know now they can't make the crap that they have been making, so I'm sure they're going to try to do a good job of it, because quality is a big factor. And quality is something that the Disney live-action remakes, and just Disney in general, seem to be lacking. So, yeah. Okay, so has anyone here seen Snow White, the remake? The live-action remake. Have any of you seen Snow White? Batman's Gamer says, bro, it's taking 15 years for a trilogy for The Incredibles. I know. It's insane. Rohan, I even did a versus video of Incredibles 1 and 2 as well. That was a long time ago. Rohan says, not me. Chris says, nope, we know better. The G Gamer says, I have, and I thought it was funny bad. Oh, it was so bad it was that kind of funny. Oh, okay. I like how Chris says, nope, we know better. Yeah, you guys do. I've trained you well. I've taught you well. Tiger Play says, no, I don't plan to. Okay, that's good. Rohan, great to see you, bud. I'm doing good. How about yourself? Only the animated one, and the only one I will want in my head, says Electrify. Yeah, that's a very funny way to put it, buddy. And I agree. Key Wayne Hill says, hey, Eric, sorry I'm late. Oh, don't worry about it. You're not... I've said some interesting stuff, but you're not late. We haven't gotten to the main story yet. So, yeah. Batman's Gamer says, is Eric the captain or is he the master if he's teaching us well? Well, I could be both. Never will see, says Batman235. Crazy Cat Lady says, no, I am waiting for streaming. Saeed says, I don't because of Ramadan. Okay, fair enough, I understand. Gamersaw says, I haven't, Eric. I like my money. Yeah, I like my money too. Show Wolf says, hey Eric, I got the perfect casting choice for Mother Gothel in Rapunzel remake, and that is Mr. Poe. It's funny how that was so many years ago, yet I still hate the sound of him when I just hear the words Mr. Poe. Oh boy. Eric is technically our school teacher more than our captain, lol. Again, I could be both. Spirit Hero says, don't waste your money like that, people. Snow White should have been a tax write-off, says Electrify. If you've seen my video, I did say that I really did like the Whistle While You Work song. Like, that started out okay, but as it went on, it really got quite energetic and fun. Like, that's like the first Disney live-action remake song out of these Disney movies, out of these live-action remakes, that I actually genuinely liked, and I had fun with it. And to be fair, I took this out of the video, but in the video I actually said it actually made me kind of glad that I was able to see that on the big screen. But then I was like, not really. I was glad I was there. Like, while I was watching it, I was like, I'm glad I'm having a fun time with this song sequence, but I don't know if it's... But it's not worth going to the theater to see just for that. So I took it out. I don't know if you guys know this, but that whole entire review that I just did right there for Snow White... I already told you I was using this microphone for the very first time. And also, it wasn't scripted. Usually videos, people always have them scripted. I myself also have them scripted. But that video, it was just completely improv. I did not script any of it. I also did not script any of that Coyote vs. Acme video that I did just recently, about 3 days ago. I didn't even script that either. I was sitting right here where my microphone is, I'm looking at my monitor. I was sitting right here when I did that Coyote versus Acme recording, and I was recording it all without looking at any notes or anything. Actually, no, I think I did have some notes, but there was no script. So, yeah, because I was reading some headlines and articles and stuff, so yeah, I had to read that stuff. But ultimately, yeah, it was very much improv. I wasn't doing anything like that, so that was, yeah, that was a first. So I'm quite impressed with how the videos have worked out. Considering I didn't write a script. Big Bash says, how long does it take to write a script for your videos, Eric? It depends on the script. Sometimes they can take a while. The script is usually what takes the longest, then editing the video is where I can get it done quicker. But yeah, the script definitely takes the longest. Saeed says, you felt more natural in the video without the script. That's interesting. That's a cool... Thank you for the feedback. That's very interesting. Oh, I must have missed one of your guys' super chats. Hang on. I'm so sorry, Kevin. Hang on. $2 super chat from Kevin. And then there's also a £1 donation from the Time Shadow. So, let's see. Kevin says, Star Wars or Star Trek? Tell me why and it's been a while. Yeah, Kevin, it has been a while. Star Wars or Star Trek? Star Wars. I like Star Trek, but I like the simplicity of Star Wars, how you don't have to follow multiple different, like, properties to get it. You only really have to follow the movies if you want to, and then the Clone Wars. Everything else is what Disney kind of did after that, but the Clone Wars is what you really have to follow, aside from the movies, and I just like the simplicity of that. And I like the world building and the lore that they've done more than Star Trek, but I do still really like Star Trek. So yeah, I'd say Star Trek. Thanks, Kevin, for that donation. And we have the Time Shadow here who says, word of advice, if anyone wants to see live-action Disney done well, just watch ABC's Masterpiece series, Once Upon a Time. It's a very long show, but it's more than worth it. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Yeah, I think my whole family has seen that, except for me. Probably a couple of my brothers haven't seen it either, but my mum saw it, my dad saw it, I think my sister saw it. Both my sisters. So, yeah, I don't know if my brothers have, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have. But I have not seen it. Big Bash says, is the Clone Wars canon to the movies, Eric? Yes, it is. George Lucas created the Clone Wars, and he said it was canon. So, yeah. Joshman says, Eric, I was asking you a question. What did you go see the Snow White remake, and how many people were in your theatre? Alright, I went and I saw it at the 4:45 showing. So it was an evening showing, or late afternoon showing. And there was quite a lot of people. I actually said it in my Snow White video that there was actually like a good amount of people. I described exactly how many people there were in that video, so if you want to know exactly how many, check that video out. But yeah, there was a lot of people that was actually there. It wasn't completely packed and full, but there were a lot of people. And funnily enough, I heard one kid in the far back, a very little boy, who said when Snow White was dead, spoilers, but you know, when she's dead in the movie, the boy says, is she asleep? Or why is she asleep? Something like that. And it's like, huh, I was like, this kid doesn't realize that she died. I was like, that's interesting. And this must be the first time he's watching Snow White. His parents brought him in to see the live-action remake, which I think is kind of cruel the more you think about it. The more you think about it. They should show him the animated one first. Batman's Gamer, thank you very much for the $5 donation. He says, the only great live-action Disney remake was The Jungle Book, maybe the Peter Pan movie that starred Gary Oldman. There was a Peter Pan movie that starred Gary Oldman? Oh, you talking about the 2003 Peter Pan? If so, I didn't know Gary Oldman was in that. Or maybe I just don't remember. Maybe I didn't know who Gary Oldman was at the time because Batman Begins and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban didn't come out at that point. Did you think that the animation in Snow White was hand-drawn in the movie? Yes, it did look like it was hand-drawn in the animated movie, because it was. Big Bash says, the dwarves look like nightmare fuel. They do indeed. Dark Saber says, hi Eric, how's it going? It's going well, thank you very much. Will you be doing a review for Daredevil Born Again? I'll think about it. I probably will, but ultimately, I feel like I'm saying everything I need to say about the show in my Let's Watch videos. They're all on Patreon, and I am going to be releasing edited down versions on my YouTube channel. I've got the first one ready. I've got to make just a couple alterations to it, But ultimately it's ready, yeah, so that'll be there for you guys to see. So if you want to know what my thoughts and see parts of my reaction, then wait for the video to be uploaded to YouTube. And if you want to see it as they come out, then they'll be on my Patreon and YouTube memberships, and you get to see my entire reaction. G-Gamer says, hey Eric, I'm trying to share your videos around Twitter and Discord so more people can watch. Oh, thank you, G-Gamer. That means a lot. I appreciate that. Anytime any of you guys can spread the word and share the videos on social media, I'd really appreciate that, because I'm still suspended off of Twitter because someone hacked my account, and Twitter are not doing anything about it. I've tried to get in touch with them constantly, and X they're just not responding. So I can't do any advertising on Twitter. I've done a little bit on, I've done some on TikTok, but yeah, if you guys can spread the word, I'm sure that you guys know better how to spread the word than I do. That would be really appreciated. Big Bash says, Eric, you should make a Discord server so we can all chat. I tried to look into a Discord, but I don't know exactly how to use Discord properly. I think I even set one up to an extent, but I didn't fully do it. But then Patreon released an option where if you become a free member and you go to Eric Carter's chat, that is already kind of like a Discord where we can all chat in there. So I would recommend going over to Patreon, becoming a free user, because I think even if you're a free user, you can chat in the chat. And that's kind of like the Discord that we use. So we actually have been chatting in that. So if you guys want to be part of that, that's kind of like a Discord server. So yeah, jump in and that, and we can all chat. Saeed says, have you heard about the ceasefire deal broken? I said this before. I was like, I don't think this ceasefire is even going to happen. I didn't buy it. And in the end, turns out I was right. They were still bombing civilians even when the ceasefire was agreed upon. So they never honored it. Jacinda says, just got back watching a Snow White video. Great job covering the movie. This movie has a low IMDb score. Yeah, it really does. It really does. Shao Wolf says, Eric, I was the Vilka person. Oh, you were? Okay, I saw your message, but I didn't get it before. Now it just clicked to me. I was like, oh, okay, so I get it. Oh, that's good. Thanks for letting me know, because whenever you guys change your names, it's hard for me to remember who it is. So thanks for letting me know. Okay. Oh wow, it's about chatting to you guys for about a half hour. I didn't realize. So who wants to talk about the budget for Snow White? Crazy Cat Lady says, I did like the 101 Dalmatians in the 90s, like Glenn Close's is Cruella. Yeah, I actually did a versus video of Glenn Close's Cruella, so go ahead and watch that if you haven't seen it. I've done a three-way versus video with Cruella, 101 Dalmatians, the animated movie, and 101 Dalmatians, the Glenn Close movie. So if you want to see my thoughts on that, go ahead. That's an older versus video, but it's one that I'm proud of. The G-Gamer says, let's see the box office failure. Alright then, let's see it indeed. Okay. Alright, so here it is. Here is Rachel Zegler. And then right above her, you might not be able to see, but this person is a genocidal maniac. So, yeah, this person, well, we know who this person is, a very despicable person. Anyway, the budget for this movie, apparently from what I looked into, was about $250 million. They say about 200 to 250 million. Although given the year-long delay and the reshoots that happened, and seeing as they're using a lot of heavy CGI with the reshoots because they put in the CGI dwarves, plus when I was watching the movie, there were times where you could tell that Rachel Zegler was green screened in to the woods. And I was like, that's because they reshot this, didn't they? So, reshoots with Disney, they're always super expensive, so I wouldn't be surprised if the budget for the movie is in the $300 million range, not accounting for marketing. So, bearing that in mind, this movie essentially needs to make, I don't know, like $800 million to break even or something, like in that range, if it really did cost over $300 million minus marketing. So, yeah, they're basically... they went over budget again like Disney always do. And now we're going to take a look at the box office numbers for the opening weekend, which are right here. Now, the domestic box office number, as you can see there, is $43 million. And the international box office is $44 million. Now, the box office projections for the opening weekend kept going down. I think it started first in like the high 50s, then it went down to like the mid 50s, then it went to the low 50s, and then it went somewhere like in like the mid 40s, and it just fell short of the mid 40s essentially, $43 million, and that's domestic. And then we got pretty much a similar result with international box office numbers. So basically this movie opened up to a measly $43 million domestic box office opening with a budget of $200 to $350 million. So yeah, that's not a good opening for a movie that has just cost so much money. And like I said, we're not even accounting marketing costs here. So this is an insanely low result and not at all what Disney was looking for, especially for such an expensive film. But, you know, they kind of like reap what they sow. This is they tried to go very, you could say progressive, you could say woke, whatever word you want to use. They tried to go all of that. They were looking for those pats on the back, and in the end, it cost them. I think it's where Joshman said this cost $270 million. Yeah, it could have been anything from, I think it's anything from 250 to 350, maybe even a bit more, knowing Disney, because for some reason they just seem to find a way to boost the budgets even more. So yeah, now if you guys have seen my review, I actually talk about the movie, and I genuinely was surprised that I didn't hate it. I thought I would hate it, and a lot of things that Rachel Zegler said about what this movie was going to be, it turns out it wasn't. Now, maybe it was at the beginning, but then they came back in and they did reshoots to make it more like the original. There was in the movie, you even get the prince who kisses Snow White to wake her up from her, from her death. And even though when he does that, I was thinking, I bet you that was not in the original. If they took the dwarves out of the original, I'm sure they took the kiss out as well. So I'm sure that was part of the reshoots. But the interesting thing is when I'm watching it, I don't think they even said anything about, like in the cartoon, the witch, when she's trying to create the poison apple and she makes it. In the book, it says there is a safeguard that true love's first kiss will break the spell type thing. And that was said in the animated movie, but I don't remember if it was said in the live action movie. So yeah, that is, I'm trying to think. Did they say it? I don't think they did. Yeah, I don't think they did. So it just goes to show there's a lot of details where they just miss these things, and it's really quite bizarre. So yeah, they did not do a great job, I think, in that regard. So yeah, budget is insane, and take a look at that. Not even $100 million worldwide. That is a terrible result, and I don't know. Normally box office numbers go down from the later weeks. Will this go up? I don't know, but whoa, the Dark Lord says an IGN gave Snow White a 7 apparently. No shock there at this point when they gave the fantastic finale to Season 3 a 4. Oh wow, did they? I've not seen Invincible Season 3 yet, but from what I've heard, everyone seems to love the ending. And they think it's one of the best final episodes to a season, like as good as the first season. And that's interesting because I thought Season 2 was such a disappointment. I didn't think Season 3 could get that good. So the fact that it has, apparently, that's great. I'm really, really pleased with that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. IGN is not credible in the slightest, says Big Bash. Yep, you and me both agree there, bud. So yeah, it's I think it was very very weird for IGN to say that, but at this point we all just kind of know that. But yeah, I thought the movie was surprisingly decent. Well, I'm not going to say decent. It was not anywhere near as bad as I thought. I thought Rachel Zegler was surprisingly good as Snow White, but she was one note, like I said. Gal Gadot, she just can't act whatsoever. I don't know why they keep giving her these roles. She must have connections or something because she's Israeli, and there's a lot of people in Hollywood who are Zionists and everything, so I'm sure they've given her special treatment for that reason. She also got her Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame. I think that doesn't mean anything anymore. If a crappy actress like her can get it, then I don't think it means nothing at that point. Let's see. Mr. PCS2 has commented on my Snow White video saying, Eric, when is your Sonic Versus video? I haven't started yet. Like I said, I've taken notes, but I haven't started yet. I need to start, though. I need to get into that. So, yeah, I will, I'll try to get into that. But, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, be sure to watch my Snow White video. Try to watch it again if you already have. It doesn't mean you have to keep it on if you don't want to, but if you just let the video run again, it actually, I think that actually helps as well, especially in the early days of when the video just gets uploaded. It helps the algorithm if it's getting a lot of rewatches. So even if you guys leave it like on in the background, that does contribute to helping the algorithm like spread it. So do whatever you can to get that video out, because I've slaved away trying to make that video, and I really hope it gets a good amount of viewership, because I just worked so hard on that video. Like I said, even with a broken mouse, so I need a replacement mouse. Even with a broken mouse, I was still editing that thing and making the thumbnail, and I didn't think I'd be able to do it or succeed in the end, but I did. So yeah. G-Gamer said, I've rewatched your videos many times in the background when playing a game. Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much, G-Gamer. Yeah, that kind of stuff really helps with the algorithm as well. So yeah, that would be great if you guys keep doing that. The Time Shadow says, is this worse than the Lion King remake? Not at all. The Lion King remake is far worse. That's one thing that this movie did not do. It did not make me angry. There are other Disney movies, Disney live action remakes that got me angry. This one did not. So I'm pretty chuffed. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I really am. I'm saying I'm pretty happy that I didn't get out of the movie feeling angry, because for me there's a little bit of stress when I have to write something, and when a Disney movie is so bad, a remake is so bad, my mind is just full of notes that it gets overwhelming. The fact that this movie, I felt like there were the problems there and I could pick them out. There were a lot of problems and it wasn't a good movie, but it didn't get me angry, and that is something I was grateful for. It's by far definitely not the worst of the live action remakes. There were far worse out there. The Lion King, Mulan, Peter and Wendy, which I couldn't even sit through. A lot of far worse movies out there. Eric, if you were forced to choose, what would you watch? Snow White or The Electric State? I would watch Snow White. Yeah, that kind of tells you something right there. Snow White had a couple of good, like I said, song numbers. There was a couple of good stuff, and there was still a nice atmosphere when you were with the dwarves, even though they weren't anywhere near as good as the dwarves from the animated version. But it was still nice to be in their company, you know, just to be in that environment. And I would rather be watching Snow White than that Electric State. This is the same director than The Amazing Spider-Man. I know. It's Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2. He also did 500 Days of Summer. He also did a movie, I think, called A Gift, was it? With Chris Evans. So yeah, he's done a lot of movies. Supersonic Adventure says, I am boycotting Snow White. Good choice. I watched The Electric State recently. I actually quite liked it, said the Time Shadow. Oh, really? I found it quite boring, I thought. And I was like, how the hell did they spend $320 million on this? Was it 320 or 340? However much, it was way too much money. You would never think that was that's how much money they spent on that. It's one of the most expensive movies ever made. But I think the movie The Creator, which had an $80 million budget, looked better, quite frankly. Big Bash says, Mark Webb can't get a break with incompetent studios. Yeah, that is probably true, yeah. He should stick to his indie movies, but I think he knew what was going to happen if he directed a Disney movie, but I'm sure they must have given him a big paycheck, and that's why he says, okay, I'll do it. Chris says, Mark Webb disappeared for like 7 years and came back with this. How unfortunate. He didn't disappear. He was making other movies, but they were just more indie types, you know, kind of how he started his career. So it was more like that. So, yeah. Eric, is Snow White better than Pinocchio? I think so, yeah. I can't really remember much of Pinocchio, but that annoyed me, that movie. Kevin has done a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, Kevin. He says, David Harbour is a good actor, not as Hellboy. Same with George Clooney, not as Batman. Civil War is the film that Batman vs Superman promised to be and wasn't. Yeah, I thought it would be like Civil War, plus I thought it would have its own edge to it, you know, its own DC edge, but instead it was Batman vs Superman. And there was nothing we could do about that, unfortunately. Sadly. So how scary were the dwarves, says Crazy Cat Lady. I said if you watch my review, I actually talk about what my first initial reaction was to them, but it was not a good initial reaction. It really wasn't. But I will say you do get used to them as it goes. You're willing to accept them because you do eventually adapt, as freaky as they looked. What? The Time Shadow says David Harbour actually did something recently. Wow, I didn't know that. That's sad to hear. Joshua says, Eric, I was asking you a question about when you're going to upload your Puss in Boots Versus video. I said I wanted to wait a few days until the Snow White hype kind of died down because I didn't want the Puss in Boots video to get buried by the algorithm because people are searching for Snow White stuff. So, it's, like I said, it's still on my Patreon and my YouTube memberships if you want to watch it early. But the final video is not complete yet. So like I said, I've got to do the ending where I just say thanks for watching and all that stuff. And then I've got to create the thumbnail for YouTube, which I haven't done yet. So yeah. Big Bash says, I watched the Puss in Boots versus video early on Patreon. So yeah, that's I'm glad you saw it and that you I hope you enjoyed it. Big Bash. Q says Snow White should have opened during spring break or the summer. Yeah, but I don't think it would have helped. The movie, I think, was pretty much doomed already. There was too much bad press surrounding it. Snow White would have opened during... Oh, no, I read that. You can get a mouse at the pet shop. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Very funny, buddy. Oh. The only Disney live-action movie I'm looking forward to see is Lilo and Stitch. I'm not even looking forward to that. I even make mention of Lilo and Stitch in my Snow White video. So yeah, I'm not even really into that, to be honest with you. Joshman says, Eric, do I need to wait another week for the Puss in Boots Versus video? It should be a few days, buddy. I've also got a review of The Electric State, which I've actually been working on for the last couple of days. I've also got that, which is incoming as well. So, yeah. So don't worry. There's plenty of content coming, and I've also got a Daredevil Let's Watch video available, which I'm going to be uploading soon as well. So you guys are will have plenty of content on the way. So don't worry about that. Jacinda says, that movie's box office is going to drop dead like Snow White. Yeah, the box office is not doing particularly well in theatres, but again, it all comes down to the fact they're not making movies that people want to see, so what do they expect is going to happen? So, yeah. Isn't the domestic box office really important, says Big Bash? Yes, it's very important. In fact, the studios get more money from the domestic box office than they do the international box office. So yeah, domestic is very important. They get more money that way. The G-Gamer says, DreamWorks took notes from Disney, the wrong notes, especially with the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake. Yeah, it seems very bizarre what they're doing down there. It's like, yeah, it's bothersome. That's the best way to put it. Just cancel Tom and Jerry to get a new mouse. You guys are very funny with these mouse references here. When is the first Daredevil Born Again cut-down reaction coming to YouTube? Hopefully in a few days I'll do it. And again, I also got to record my reaction to the recent episode as well. So I'll be doing that for Patreon, and then eventually it will trickle its way down to my YouTube channel in a more condensed, shorter format. So yeah. Chris says, the mouse went off for cheese and got caught in a trap. You guys, you're too much sometimes. I hate how animation is so disrespected, says Big Bash. Yep, but just take solace in the fact that it was being rescued, like with the Looney Tunes movie, the recent one. It got rescued, didn't it? So yeah, it can make a comeback, I think. Especially because it seems like certain studios are starting to make a business out of buying movies that other studios have shelved. So yeah, Ketchup did it with the Looney Tunes, and now they're trying to do it with Coyote vs. Acme. So we'll see what happens. What are your thoughts on the songs? I actually thought, like I said, a couple of them were good. I liked Whistle While You Work. I liked I like the Dwarf song, the Hi Ho song, and they mix it in with the Digging song. So yeah, I thought that was quite good how they did that. Also, some of the original songs, they don't compare to the original classic songs from Snow White, but they were actually quite they were sung very well, I thought, and also they had some really quite catchy parts to them. So I didn't like all of them, but I definitely liked parts to them, and they were better, I found, than what Lin-Manuel Miranda did for Mufasa. So yeah, there's that as well. Hui says, please answer. Just so you know, in some variants of the Snow White story, specifically Italy and Belgium, the main heroine lives with robbers instead of dwarves. Ooh. Lives with robbers instead of dwarves. I didn't know that. Also, the original Grimm fairy tale is just called Snow White, but I'm not really defending the new movie all that much. Yeah, it feels like Disney called it Snow White just because they wanted it to not be about the dwarves originally. They wanted it all to be about Snow White, and she was going to be like, you know, the leader that she wanted to be, and she was not chasing true love and all that kind of stuff. And it got them, you know, it got people mad, so they changed it. But yeah, so it just seems like they were just trying to make this another girl power type movie, but looks like they had to change or bring that down a bit. I love Daredevil, but I'm waiting for the whole 9 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. Yeah, it definitely feels like this was not designed to be a weekly show. It just doesn't fit. It needs to be a binge, and unfortunately it's not. The only reason I'm watching it all at once is because I'm reacting to it on Patreon for you guys, and it'll eventually come to YouTube as well. So that's the only reason why I'm reacting to it. But yeah, otherwise I wouldn't. Snow White and the Seven Short Kings, says Goat. Very true. So yeah, the movie's not doing well, Snow White, but that's its first week. It'll be very interesting to see on the second week if it will get better, if it will catch itself, or if it just straight up doesn't. We will have to see. Erica, I was asking you a question. Which Disney live-action remakes made you angry, and would you also include the live-action Little Mermaid? Yeah, the ones that made me angry was Beauty and the Beast. I remember Aladdin got me angry at places. Mulan got me angry in places as well. Little Mermaid definitely did in places. The Lion King, I know, got me angry, especially what they did with the Scar's song, which was my favourite song. But which one got me just straight up mad? Do you guys remember which one got me mad? I feel like there was one that got me very mad. Do you guys remember? Because I remember when they filmed Mulan near a Muslim concentration camp. Yes, that got me angry. Yeah. After they were trying to act like they were all like pat us on the back. You know how Disney always do. They were acting like they were so good, and then they did that. Atrocious. The Time Shadow says Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I don't think I liked that very much either. Joshman says I think it was the Lion King remake. Yeah, that was another one I really didn't like. Chris says, when The Penguin came out, I waited to binge it to see how it was as a whole. It just helps me see the story better. No, I totally understand what you mean by that. Although I will say The Penguin is probably one of the only shows where I was okay with watching an episode week after week, because each episode gave me enough to where I was like, you know what? I'm satisfied. It's like I'm full with that one episode, so I can't wait for the next one. They always gave us something, which has made it so worth it. And in the end, the episodes, they didn't disappoint, unlike what Marvel usually does. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Daredevil, but I do not have high hopes because they always seem to screw up towards the end. Big Bash says, I like binging. Waiting for the episodes is annoying. It is annoying, yeah. For all the things that we have advanced with, we still, for some reason, have not advanced when it comes to the release strategy of TV shows. They're still using the whole one a week thing. Jess says, has done a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. Says, Daredevil Born Again is doing well, and you must be happy it kept its dark tone. Morbius is better than Snow White. Why didn't you like Age of Ultron? Age of Ultron was too jokey. The trailer was all horror-like, and I was like, ooh, the Avengers are in trouble. Captain America's shield is broken. But then you find out Captain America's shield was broken before we even got the main title, and it was a hallucination. It wasn't even real. And in terms of the horror element, turns out there was no horror. That was just Marvel's trailers lying. So the Age of Ultron trailer was the first time I realized, yeah, Marvel lie like no other with their trailers, and I didn't trust them. So yeah, that got me annoyed. Batman must cripple Penguin after what he did, said Batman 2 Batman to basically beat the crap out of him after what he did. I like weekly shows more because it feels more rewarding every time a new episode comes out. Yeah, I know that feeling too. It depends what show it is, but for me, I don't really care. I don't feel like the weekly gives me any kind of benefit. It just feels like an annoying pause. So yeah, for me, not really, not quite. What about the new Superman trailer? Is that a lie or no? I'd say that looks honest, but we don't really know what the tone is yet because that was a teaser. We gotta wait for the actual trailer to see how that delivers the tone, so we'll have to see. But yeah, we're in March, we're approaching April. 3 months after that, or was it 2 or 3 months after that, 3 months after that, we're getting Superman. It's right around the corner at this point. So I think in April we're going to be getting a lot of trailers, I think, including another Superman trailer. So yeah, there are no strings on me, says Batman235. They just want to stay subscribed. That's why they do the weekly thing. Yeah, but Netflix, everyone stays subscribed to them and they let you binge it. Daredevil also pioneered the whole binge watch model, so they should stick to it. But the fact they haven't, that is actually just, to me, is like, I don't know why they did that. The Time Shadow says, do you know about the musical 6? I'm sorry, I don't. And are you going to watch the pro shoot? What's the pro shoot? I actually don't know what either of those two things are that you said, buddy. Okay, we're going to end the stream, I think, in about 10 minutes. Because I am exhausted. Looking at the screen, I actually feel like I want to close my eyes. Look at my bright screen. So yeah, any questions you have, any Streamlabs chats, any super chats, it all goes towards getting me a new mouse, which I urgently need. Otherwise, I don't think I can edit anything. So yeah, any help you guys can give towards, you know, helping me get the mouse would be very appreciated. Anyway, let's read your questions. Fireboy says, I'm going to go to bed now, Eric. Bye. Oh, okay, take care, buddy. You get to go to bed before I do, and you've had more sleep than I have. I feel like I'm, like there's a real imbalance going on with me right now. Hope you guys really do enjoy that video as well, because that really did take a lot out of me. Mainly because I was doing it all in one go. One of the people who watch my videos says, I think you're going to give it a 3 or a 2 in the Versus video. They're talking about my Snow White one. The G Gamer says, I'm available whenever about that commission I wanted to do. Get some sleep, Eric. Yeah, don't worry. We'll chat about that. I'm not ignoring you or anything. I'll get in touch with you about that, but I need to charge my batteries, then I need to get some other work done, then I'll approach you. Time Shadow says, okay, I won't hold the captain hostage with super chats today. I feel like that would be a bit mean. It's okay if you want to, because like I said, it all goes towards that. So if you want to do it that way, that's perfectly fine. Because like I said, I need all the support I can get. So if that means staying up for a bit longer just to get a new mouse and get help on the mouse, I'm all for it, bud. So don't worry about it. Chris says, Eric, do you think Mr. Krabs would have funded this movie if given the chance? Funded what movie? Hui Tumo says, the prince in the original movie actually was meant to have a lot more to do, but because they couldn't animate male protagonists all that well at the time, a lot of his scenes were cut. Really? They seem to animate him very well from what I saw, so they actually couldn't animate him beyond that. That's interesting, that. I didn't know that. Big Bash says, I'm leaving now. I have Ramadan dinner in 3 minutes. Bye, Eric. Oh, you do? Oh, okay then. Good luck. I hope you enjoy your fast when you open it, bud. Take care. Great to see you again. And be sure to send me that animated character of me that you drew. I'd like to see you continue on that, because that was looking pretty good, that was. The G-Gamer says, I love how they all think it's something bad because I commissioned Megamind too, but trust me, it's not that bad, lol. I do remember there was a Shrek short. It was a Shrek Christmas special. I don't know if you remember that. Back in the day, that was so much fun when me and my brothers and sisters were young and we were all watching that. That was so cool, that was. Shrek the Halls. That was it, Charleston. Shrek the Halls. That was a great Christmas special. Maybe one day I should do a video on it. I think I've watched that special, says Gamersaw. Yeah, I remember it used to come on... every Christmas on BBC Three for us in the UK. That special was so funny, especially Gingy's story about why he hates Christmas and why he doesn't like Santa Claus. How he had a girlfriend. How a gingerbread man had a girlfriend. What happened to her? That was so funny. I remember the first time I saw that, we all laughed. It made so much sense, too. Oh, hi, Jake. He says he's back now. I said I was going to end in about 10 minutes. So that's about 5 more minutes, that is. And I also said if anyone has any super chats or questions or Streamlabs chats, like I said, it all goes towards helping me get a new mouse, because this one just wore out on me as I was editing the Snow White video. I didn't even think I was going to be able to get it done, but yeah, it's worn out now and I need a new mouse to edit my videos with. Otherwise, I can't edit any videos for you guys from here on out. Batman235 says, Eric, see my comment above. Batman235, where is your comment? Did you see my comment? No, where is your comment? My brother says Superman isn't a comedy, but it's it's trailer, he says. Despair when Clark is alone in the snow. Yeah, it does show despair, but James Gunn can show despair, but it all really... tone is important. We got to see how James Gunn does it, because he can really mess up with tone sometimes, it feels like, and I hope with Superman he doesn't. I've been willing to look the other way with some of his other projects, but with Superman, you can't. I won't be able to look the other way, so he's got to do it right. Time Shadow says, okay, Eric, I found an interesting post on Instagram that I think you should see. Do you know how I can send it to you? Email it to me if you want to. You got my email, haven't you? If you want to email it, or if you're on Patreon, you can send me a direct message through Patreon, or put it in the Eric Carter's chat on Patreon, which is kind of like the Discord on Patreon, which is kind of like the Patreon Discord. Do it there before you think of doing it via email, because we do business contacts through email, don't we? Jake says Gal Gadot is somewhat disliked these days due to her bland acting. It's also because she supports genocide, so that's another reason people don't like her. Because Rachel Zegler, what she did was essentially a crime against pop culture. What Gal Gadot has done is a crime against humanity. So, yeah, that's no good. Goat says, what is genocide? Genocide is what Thanos was going to do when he snapped his fingers and he wanted to basically wipe out, like, a big chunk of humanity, or the world. I remember when he described what his plan was for his home planet when they were running out of resources. Do you remember when Doctor Strange was like, genocide? And then Thanos was like, my people, they call me a madman. And it's like, yeah, that's basically what genocide is. So you can see all these movies and stuff, they all say they don't support it, but then when it comes to other people, you know, people that they don't like, it's like, yeah, it's not genocide. And it's like, it's just ridiculous. Brendan, the camera guy, has donated. Hang on a second. Canadian dollars. Has donated $7 through Super Chat. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. And says, would you do a reaction of Invincible Season 3? I'm thinking about it because I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna be just going through the Daredevil episodes first, and then I'll think about doing Invincible Season 3 because I did do Invincible Season 2 on my Patreon. I got my whole reaction there, so I'll think of doing Season 3 as well, yeah. But I'm thinking if I should do the whole of Season 3, or if I should react to the first episode on camera, and then watch the rest on my own, and then react to the last episode on camera. I'm thinking about it, I'm not entirely sure, we'll have to see what I do. Goat says, Fast and Furious 5 or 7? I'll say 5. 7 was great though too, that's another one of my favourites. 5, 6 and 7 were great, they were my favourite ones. Yeah, Movie King, I hear a lot of people say Season 3 was great of Invincible. Yeah, sure thing, Time Shadow. Send it to me on Instagram. If you've got a different name on Instagram, let me know it's you, because I get a lot of people contacting me on Instagram. Wolverine says, brief thoughts on the new Daredevil episode. The first two, I had issues with the first episode. Second episode I had less issues with. Third episode I'm going to be watching, I think tomorrow, and I'm going to record and put up my reaction on my Patreon. So that's coming. I think they're releasing 2 episodes this upcoming week, 4 and 5, from what I've heard someone say. So that'll be interesting. It means that that they think people are probably dropping off, so they're trying to give more episodes or something. Let me double check that. I think I heard someone did say episode 4 and 5 of Daredevil was going to come out. So let me see. Oh, there you go. I got your message, Time Shadow. So yeah, they're releasing 2 episodes on March. Yeah, 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. So that means I'm gonna have to react to 2 episodes for you guys. Yeah, I've actually seen this, Time Shadow. Did you say you wanted to send? What did you say you wanted to send me? That interesting post on Instagram, I think. Yeah, I've already read this. I saw it was from someone else where I got it, but yeah, I already read this essentially. Yeah, so yeah, no, I'm aware. I've heard of that. It's about Sadie Sink's character that she's going to play in Spider-Man 4. It says that in Spider-Man 4, she's said to be a sharp and free-spirited woman, strong-willed, intelligent, and not easily intimidated. She is said to have a mysterious past. I hope not easily intimidated doesn't mean that she acts very moody, because like I said, that's what she just does a lot, and I don't like whenever she keeps doing that performance. It just seems like she's a spoilt brat all the time when she does that, and it's one note that when she does it. Matthew says, hey Eric, if I emailed an MP3 of some music I made, would you give me some feedback? Yeah, sure. If you did that, yeah, go ahead, Matthew. I'll listen to it. Time Shadow says, mysterious past. Sounds a lot like Black Cat to me. Yeah, that sounds interesting if a Black Cat. Mysterious past, you're right, Time Shadow. That sounds interesting. Black Cat. I'm trying to think. It would be very Catwoman-like if they did that, wouldn't it? It's rumored Sadie Sink will play Mary Jane or Jean Grey, says Gamersaw. Yeah, I know, I'm aware of that one, yeah. I think it still is going to be Jean Grey, I think. So I don't know how much stock we can put in the mysterious past description, but I think it is going to be Jean Grey. Ooh, Movie King says... The Movie King says they're doing that because episode 5 is filler and the shortest episode in the season, from what I hear from people who have seen all the episodes. Yeah, I heard that's supposed to be the bank one. In the trailer, we see Matt going after these thugs in a bank, and I heard that was like just a complete filler episode. Which, why have they got a filler episode in there? They've only got 9 episodes, for crying out loud. They should make it all count. Jake says, anyways, were you talking about the Shrek Christmas special earlier? Yes, I was. The Shrek the Halls, was it? Yeah, that was a fantastic Christmas special, that was. It was great. I'd really rather it was just MJ or Black Cat, to be honest, as the Time Shadow. Yeah, but a lot of the rumors I've heard, and reliable people with inside sources, have been saying that Sadie Sink was being considered to play Jean Grey. And that's what it looked like they were trying to get her for, so I think that's what they're going to do. Matthew says, have you watched The Dark Knight Returns duology? Yes, I have. I watched it back in the day when they released part 1 and part 2. And I remember watching part 1, then waiting for when they were going to announce part 2, and part 2 was great. I actually read the comic, the second 2 issues, after I watched the first movie. And reading the comic in the second half, I thought that was actually really cool. That was violent. And it made me think, wow, are they actually going to do this in the animated movie? And they did. So, yeah. Wolverine says, will you do a review of the Minecraft movie when it releases? We'll see if I do. I've got a lot on my plate right now. But if I feel like I could, then yeah, I will. Maybe even go back to do my car reviews if I don't have time to edit it. But we'll see what happens. Rohan says, has your opinion on Joker 2 changed? No, it's remained the same. I think, if anything, it's gotten worse, maybe? But yeah, I've only seen it that once in the theatre. I've never seen it again. The only time I saw it was when I was using... The only time I saw bits of it again was when I was putting footage of it together for my worst movies list. I think Minecraft movie will be big, stupid fun, which I think it suits the film. Wearing a wig or dyeing her hair. Gal Gadot was a good Wonder Woman, but she wasn't the best actress. Thing is, she was also bad in Wonder Woman 1984, so, like I said in my video, she started out good, but then somewhere along the way, she just lost it. But yeah, she's a crazy nut in real life, though, like... I have no respect for that woman. Eric, I really hope the new animated Looney Tunes movie comes out in your country, so that way you can review it, and it really deserves all the support. Yeah, I know, that's why I want to review it. Cole says, I'm guessing we're in the Q&A. Yes, we are. Let's change that. So yeah, like I said below, is the Great Mouse Rescue Fund. If you want to move that needle along at all, that would be very much appreciated. The Dark Lord says... the season finale of Invincible Season 3 had a 10 out of 10 on IMDb for a few hours, the second one in history, and now it stands on the same score as the final episode of The Last Airbender at 9.9. Nice. Even Star Wars The Clone Wars had like a super high score in that level as well, the final episode of The Clone Wars. So that's a rare score to get, that is. High Evolutionary or Kang? High Evolutionary. Without a doubt. I thought he was even more threatening than Kang was. Spirit Hero says, I immediately started hating Gal Gadot the second she appeared in that Imagine song for poor people. Yeah. Shows how deluded she is, that she thought singing a song would actually make people who are less fortunate forget about the fact that they've got no money during COVID. So, yeah, that was shows how out of touch and what she's really like. She thinks that everything she does is so amazing that she can sing to make everyone feel better. So pathetic. Wolverine says, I heard her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame got destroyed already. I mean, yes, I heard that, but I heard someone else say it was a fake. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah. I mean, if it did happen, then good. Jake says, genocide. What's going on with that? Sorry if I sound uninformed. It's about what's going on in Palestine. You know, Israel, how they're doing a genocide to Palestinians. And it's been proven by so many departments and so many international courts that yes, it is genocide, and we know what a genocide is. We're not stupid. But Israel and America are saying, no, it's not genocide. And then you have Gal Gadot, who's basically trying to say that people are committing the genocide. She's saying that, oh, my family, like she's acting like they're the victims, even though they're being given billions of dollars in funding of weapons. And they're basically they're an army attacking a bunch of civilians who have no army defending themselves. That's not a war, that's what you call a massacre. And they're trying to make it out like those people are the ones that are the victims, even though those Israeli soldiers, if you hear the stuff they've done, it is some of the most gruesome, grotesque shit that you could hear. They are the most disgusting, immoral army ever. Like, they've actually now gone to Nazi levels. That's what people have actually said now. And when you look at the comparisons of things they've done, it's like, yeah, that's what other comparison could you give? So it's insane, and she supports that. And she talks about everything about, you know, female empowerment, trying to make little girls happy, except if your little girl or the females are Palestinian, in which case then she's like, yeah, she doesn't care. If anything, she'll try to gaslight you into saying that you're the one that is the bully or the problem if you try to speak up for those civilians that are basically dying or being murdered by her people. So yeah, she's complicit. And yeah, a lot of people hate her as well. So that's why with Snow White, a lot of people don't like Rachel Zegler, but they can't stand Gal Gadot. And I've said this earlier, and I said this I think in a video as well. What Rachel Zegler did was a crime against pop culture. What Gal Gadot has done is a crime against humanity. She's a despicable person. Charles says, I used to like listening to Ben Shapiro, but lost respect for him since he defended Israel for too much. Thing is, I'll say, even there was a point where even some of the stuff that Ben Shapiro was talking about, I thought was good as well. Like, I don't know if you heard about when he was talking about how they were there was a thing where they were trying to say Boy Scouts are offensive because they don't let girls in there. And I remember he was like debating like the crazy ones, and I was like, I liked that, how he was doing that. I was like, yeah, Boy Scouts are Boy Scouts. It's no big deal. Just keep it as it is. It's like there's Girl Scouts as well, but we don't see that as a problem, but they see Boy Scouts as an issue. And he did a good job of basically embarrassing them. But yeah, when it came to this, he thinks he always talks sense, except here, where he's basically just a Zionist. He's like, he's got no sense of morals or values. All of a sudden, they just go completely out the window for this, and his bias shows. So yeah. Have you seen the newest Hunger Games, says Cole? No, but I do want to. But it's whenever I saw that it was 2.5 hours long, that really put me off. Spirit Hero says, what Ben Shapiro did and said about Candace Owens is disgusting and unforgivable. I've not heard that. What did he do? Jake says Looney Tunes deserves better. It does, for sure. But that's why DVDs and stuff it's great to have those instead of trying to only rely on streaming services. Zelda fan says, what do you think of the anti-woke community? Well, they really blow things out of proportion at times. Things are not woke, they'll call it woke. I say it's only woke when they sacrifice creativity for just social justice, where they think, forget about the source material, forget about what we're supposed to be writing for, we're just going to change something or make a political choice just to make ourselves look good at the expense of that other property that we were supposed to be representing. That to me is woke. When they don't do it for creative reasons, but they do it just for self-serving reasons to make themselves look good. Batman says, bye Eric, and as Wendell Pierce will soon get the hell out of my office. So we'll soon say, get the hell out of my office. Perfect choice next to David Cornsweet as Superman. Yeah. Jake says they see anything with a black, gay, Asian, etc. character and cry foul play. You definitely said it, Spirit Hero, says Josh, man. Thank the Lord that we do have physical media to preserve the classic Looney Tunes cartoons. Yeah, exactly. Okay, guys, 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to close the stream off. So, have you got any more questions or anything? I actually thought this bar would actually go across some more, I thought. Yeah, unfortunate. Oh, Time Shadow, thank you very much for that. That's a £5 donation. Thank you very much, Time Shadow. I really appreciate that. Time Shadow says, as an active member of the Doctor Who fan base, aka someone who has to deal with the anti-woke on a daily basis, I can assure you that they are exhausting. Yeah, they do sound it. Although I will say, I remember I don't watch Doctor Who very much. I only used to watch some of it on like the specials when David Tennant was on it back when I was a kid. But the thing is, it did get bad writing. Once they put the female one in, the female Doctor, then the one after her, the writing did get very... There is no other way to say it. It did get quite woke. Like when they says to David Tennant at a point, you really were better when you were a woman, you know? And they were saying all these things to him. I was like, what the hell am I watching right here? And now Doctor Who is not performing well. People are not watching the BBC, and they're not paying TV licenses here in the UK for BBC. And now the BBC are running to the government and trying to get them to force people to pay for a TV license if they want to use Disney Plus or Netflix. So, yeah, in that way, screw the BBC. Not just for that, but also because of their bias when it comes to reporting. Tanner says, after the Puss in Boots versus video, what's the next versus video? The next versus video, it'll probably be the Sonic one. Sonic and also Snow White. I'm going to try to do both of those. Thing is, Sonic can wait, because I think I've already missed the window on that one. But Snow White is the one I'm going to try to get out there. Oh, in the Q&A session, says Khan. Yeah, we've been in the Q&A session since I switched to this screen. Has Cobra Kai ever made you cry? I think it might have, but I can't remember where. I wish I could, but I can't remember. Joshman says, Eric, can you read my question? I was asking you a question about the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. Would you agree that David Zaslav is an absolutely horrible CEO and you think he needs to get fired of Warner Brothers, has been treating their mascot, the Looney Tunes? Yeah, I do think he's terrible. I do think he needs to get fired, but he can't get fired because he owns it. So, you know, as nice as it would be to see him get fired, he can't get fired. He owns it. Last question. Shrek 4 or Toy Story 4? Shrek 4. Did Stranger Things ever make you cry? Ooh, good question. I don't think it did. No, I don't think so. It got me shocked at times, but that was it. Spirit Hero says, also, Eric, I answered your Candace Owens questions. Oh, did you? Oh, I thought I was about to read the Ant-Man question there. Where are you then? How far up did you answer the question? Where is your question, Spirit Hero? You said you answered it for me? Where? Oh, here. What Ben Shapiro did and said about Candace Owens is disgusting and unforgivable. Okay, where is it, though? Where's your... Electrify says, what's your expectations in my script? I don't know. What's the script about? Because I don't... You said you want to send me a script. I can't remember if you told me what it was about. But I haven't seen it yet. Like I said, I've been super busy, and I've not even slept for 2 days right now, so... I can't see where you answered my Candace Owens question, Spirit Hero. I can't see it. Ah, about vampires. Okay, now you got me interested. Wolverine 51 says, I think Stranger Things should have been a 1-season show. Jake says, by the way, Kal-El no. Kal-El no. Oh, right. Yeah, I should have put that in the video as well, her bad dialogue and delivery. But I was talking specifically about Wonder Woman 1984 and Red Notice, or whatever it was called. Red Notice? Was that what it was called? It was Red Notice, wasn't it? Yeah, Red Notice. Anyways, do you have an animal that freaks you out in particular? An animal that freaks me out in particular? Well, I'm not really that good with animals, but an animal... I don't know if there's an animal that freaks me out. But I will say, have you heard of those Komodo dragons? Those things just seem like... Those things are like merciless killers. I don't like those creatures, so there's those. Probably those I don't like. Okay. I'm scared of spiders, says Goat. Yeah, I don't like spiders either. Although I'm not as afraid of them anymore. Now I can just get them with a tissue. It doesn't matter how big they are. Spirit Hero says he'll post it again. Okay, great, because I don't see it. I don't know if you see it, but I can't see it. Joshua was asking me a question. Tanner, the Puss in Boots versus video should come out in a few days' time, I think. But I'm pacing the videos out because, like I said, I got the Daredevil one, I've got the Electric State one. So I gotta pace them out because you don't want to upload videos too close together. Jake says, I don't like spiders, especially tarantulas. Snakes freak me out, says Wolverine. Yeah, that's a good one, snakes. The G Gamer says, my family are afraid of roaches, yet I'm not afraid of them. Oh, okay. Cool. Have you heard about frilled dragons? I haven't. But yeah, cockroaches. I've never seen one in real life, I don't think. I might have seen one, but I can't remember when. It's been such a long time. Once there was a huge dragonfly right next to our doorbell when we got out of the house. It was huge. Like, you could see details of it. It was bigger than my hand, basically, the dragonfly, and that was insane. Joshman says, Eric, are you skeptical of Zootopia 2? Do you think it's going to get Disney animation back on track? And do you think it's going to be better than Moana 2 and the recent animated movies? It should be better than the recent animated movies, I think, because I'm assuming they're going to be spending a good amount of time on the script, because they're not rushing this production. It's not like it's a Disney Plus show first. That is just turning into a movie, so they should be taking their time on it, I think. So yeah. How do you feel about Coco 2? Yeah, so Coco 2 and Zootopia 2, if they can do a good job with it, then go ahead. But if it's going to be just a cash grab, then don't. That's what I think. Do the Versus videos normally take the longest to make? Just wondering. How long does it normally take, says Tanner. Yeah, the Versus videos are usually the most sophisticated because there's a lot of analysis I got to do between the two movies. And the Versus videos, they're like my baby, basically. Those are the things that I created that YouTubers just weren't really doing at the time. So that's like my thing. And the Versus videos are really something that I really put a lot of hard work into, and I want to make sure they're great every single time. So yeah, I put a lot of hard work into it, and yeah, I want them to be done right, so that's why they take the longest. Sometimes they can be done very quick, other times they can take a while. I remember my It Versus video took me a month to do, which was a lot. But I put a lot of work into it, and, you know, it ended up being great. Spirit Hero, I don't see it. What? Are you using a certain word that is being censored or something? Let me double check if it's doing anything. Let me see. Is it doing something to your question or something? Let me see if it's... No, it's not doing anything there. Language Lover says, and we love your Versus videos. Oh, I'm glad you do, because I put lots of work into them, so I'm really glad you enjoy them. Do you normally work on videos one at a time or several at once? I should try to do one at a time, but lately I've been doing several at once. So yeah, I've got the I was doing the Coyote versus Acme video that I did just a few days ago. Please do watch that if you haven't. I put lots of work into that. Then I was going back to work on the Electric State. Then I was working on the Snow White video today, which I didn't even sleep with. Sorry, I didn't even sleep at all. So I've had two days I've stayed awake basically getting that video done and watching the movie and everything. And yeah, I've had a whole day today as well where I had to go about driving around doing some stuff, and thankfully I was wide awake for it. Even now I'm bizarrely wide awake even though I've not slept for 2 days. So yeah. Spirit Hero says YouTube censors are absolutely ridiculous. They must be. You must be using a word which they don't like, but I don't know what. I've not told it to censor anything. So if you can find a way to say it again, but say it in a more friendly way that the system probably won't pick up, that would be useful and helpful. But yeah, that Ben Shapiro, he He really turned into a baby when people bring up Israel. Like his facial expressions and everything, it is embarrassing to see his reaction, and see just how he like he loses any sense of professionalism whenever they bring up Israel. Like people have suspected him of things, and quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised. What letter does it begin with? It says, oh, okay. Spirit Hero says, she spoke in support of Palestine, and Ben Shapiro called her disgraceful and disgusting for it. Turned everyone at the Daily Wire against her, and eventually got her fired, made her quit. Candace Owens was at the Daily Wire. Oh, okay. I didn't know Candace Owens was at there. Wasn't there that other girl that looks like Ben Shapiro? What's her name? She's also got the very sharp eyebrows. She got fired as well, and she started like, you know, her own little news organization herself, her independent journalism herself, and she's got, like, you know, a big following now. I wonder what happened there, if anyone knows what happened there. But yeah, no, I remember there was one person that's brought that up to Ben Shapiro, and he goes, "How does it feel supporting terrorism?" And it's like, this is ridiculous. It really is. That's their only go-to because they haven't got a leg to stand on. They're the villains in all of this. Goat says, why don't you announce at what times are the streams? Because I like to have a bit of leeway, because sometimes it just depends how I feel. Sometimes I don't feel like jumping onto the stream. I don't feel like I'm ready. So I don't like to say specifically, but you guys always do know it's always supposed to be on a Sunday. And it's usually within a few hour time frame usually, so that's usually why that I don't. Floor says, "Hey Eric, what movie do you think that's the worst movie that you ever seen?" For me, my worst movie that I ever saw is Cars. I remember I really had a bad time watching that in theaters. When I was a kid, and I was really asking my dad to go see it because it was produced by the guy that made The Incredibles. And then I saw how boring that movie was when my dad finally took me, and I felt bad for dragging my dad there because he was bored. I was a kid, but I was bored, and I was thinking, I'm not gonna ever believe anything when a movie says produced by this person ever again, because that means nothing. And yeah, to this day, I've never taken that on board. Just because produced by someone doesn't mean it's going to be a good movie. Spirit Hero says, YouTube seriously censoring Palestine now? Give me a break. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Josh Wolverine says, I think I remember a while ago you said you would rewatch it but never did. Well, maybe if someone commissions it, I will. But yeah, I said maybe. I think I can't even remember saying that. But if I did, I'll believe you. But yeah, if I haven't done it at this point, I don't think I will. There's a lot of other stuff I still have to see that I haven't. You know, Invincible season 3 is one of them. I still haven't seen Arcane season 2. So there's a lot of stuff that I still need to see. So I'm not gonna put Cars on the top of my list. Charlton says Ben Shapiro tends to act too defensive on Piers Morgan. Yeah, don't get me started on Piers Morgan either. What is your least favorite Versus video? My least favorite would probably be the original Avengers, the first Avengers versus Joss Whedon's Justice League. A lot of people were very favorable towards Joss Whedon's Justice League when it came out. A lot of reviewers, and myself included. I don't know why. Maybe we liked the fact that it was more light as opposed to the Batman vs Superman being too dark. So maybe we appreciated that. But yeah, I think I look back and I don't know why I liked that one so much. Maybe we were all in denial or something. But yeah, I did not like what that turned out to be in the end. So yeah. What is my most hated video? I think it might be that one. Yeah. Just curious, is there a Versus video you changed your mind on looking back? Yeah, that Joss Whedon Justice League versus Avengers video. Yeah. That one I changed my mind on. Wait, hang on, what are you saying, G Gamer? Wait, not Mirror's Edge Catalyst, because I know that one got a lot of flack. Yeah, that video did get a lot of flack, but I remain. But the thing is, what I was saying about the game was true. None of the stuff I said was incorrect, and yeah, a lot of people really did not take kindly to that video that I made. Wolverine says, regardless of it's labeled as your least favorite movie ever, I wouldn't want to rewatch it either. Yeah. Yeah, not great. Someone needs to stop YouTube censorship. Well, a lot of these, like, YouTubers developing systems that is meant to, like, you know, like be against Palestinians and everything. So yeah, they're all for, you know, oppressing them. How they're not there to like help them in any way. How is it like being a full-time YouTuber, and is it hard? Says Tanner. It is very hard because it's very challenging. You got to be your own boss. For me, I feel like my channel really was growing bigger back in the time when I was doing these versus videos, but now I don't know why. It's like the YouTube algorithm has not been working in my favor. People have experienced a lot of changes in the algorithm, and there were certain really big channels, like far bigger than me, where they really experienced a huge like downtick on their channel, and they couldn't, you know, continue on their channel and make a living out of it like they used to. And I think my channel might have been affected in the same way, because I just don't get that same level of viewership that I used to get back in the time with my versus videos and stuff. So yeah. What do you guys think of the thumbnail as well that I did for the Snow White, the remake nobody asked for video? Because remember, I had to do it with this broken mouse. I didn't think I was gonna be able to get it done, but I'm quite pleased with the way it looks. Oh, Spirit Hero says, okay. Khan says, looks pretty good. Why does it look okay? I'm curious, because I'm always trying to make my thumbnails better. Is Zootopia 2 coming out this year? Man, I want to know what went on behind the scenes with that. Looks fine, but the CGI on the dwarf... I mean... The CGI on the dwarf, though, that's what the dwarfs look like in the movie, so that is accurate to what they look like. Charleston says, looks like something you'd see on the recommended page. I consider it well made. Would it make you guys want to click the video, out of curiosity? Khan says, yep. Joshman says, Eric, I'm definitely on the same page with you on the Lilo and Stitch live-action remake. I don't care how positive the trailer got, but in my opinion, I think they're going to screw it up. I think so as well. Spirit Hero says, even though I hate Gal Gadot more than Rachel, I don't like her comment about her co-star and how all the scenes could be cut and wouldn't matter. I think that wasn't cool. I don't think it was cool either. I think she was trying to be funny, and it just failed. It seemed like she was having too much of a good time, and she wasn't really paying attention to what she said, so I think that's what it was. Oh, Big Bash has got back from Ramadan dinner. Oh, I hope you had a great meal. Oh, Spirit Hero says yes, he would click it. Wolverine51 says it's pretty eye-catching. That's good, because I was hoping it would be that. And also, I didn't think I'd be able to get that thumbnail done with the mouse that was just completely on the fritz. So I'm glad that it got done. It looked as good as it does, considering that I was working with a broken mouse. Yeah, she didn't say that's Hollywood, baby. I thought she said it's Hollywood, baby. I thought she said that, but yeah. Big Bash says, Eric, what are your thoughts on Ben 10 Race Against Time? I hated that. Every kid back in the day hated that. It made not only was that movie bad, that Ben 10 Race Against Time movie, but it was so bad that it actually made kids hate Ben 10. Like, they couldn't sit through it and watch it anymore, just like because it negatively impacted the show, We felt like we couldn't look at the show anymore, and we had to take a break from it. Eventually, we got back into it, but I was like, yeah, I'm never going to watch it again for what it did. Ben 10 Alien Swarm wasn't as bad. It was made by the same guy, but it wasn't as bad. The director of those two live-action Ben 10 films, by the way, was the guy that was with Keanu Reeves in Bill and Ted. You know, Keanu Reeves' friend in that movie, he's the one that directed Ben 10 Race Against Time. So, yeah. That's interesting, that. Tanner, I don't think Monsters University is better than Monsters Inc., but I do like it a lot. Thoughts on the Powerpuff Girls movie, says Jake. Oh yeah, loved that Powerpuff Girls movie as a kid. It was more serious, and the creator said he wanted to make it more serious because the show was meant to be for boys and girls, and it was especially meant to be also for boys because it had a lot of cool action and cool villains. But then he goes, the marketing department really turned it very pink, and that's why he tried to make the movie more serious so it could get the boys back in there again. Yeah, and I thought that was really cool. The bonus stuff, the special features on there with the Powerpuff Girls being interviewed by the narrator was also really funny, especially when Bubbles says, "I'm tough. I'm just as tough as my sisters are. Do you want me to see me beat up Mojo Jojo? I'll do it." And then Jojo's like, "What did I do?" I remember my mum laughed at that. She found that funny, and then she wanted us to show my dad as well, and he found it funny as well. That was cool. What's this Cartoon Network show you wish got a full theatrical movie? I don't really wish any of them had a full theatrical movie, but I do wish more of them had a full ending. Because the shows just kind of stopped. They never ended, and that was kind of sad to me. They were such amazing shows, and to not give them an ending, it's quite depressing. I am glad to say that one of my favourite Cartoon Network shows, though, Ed, Edd and Eddy, it did get an ending. And it was in the form of a movie, not a theatrical release movie, but it was the Ed, Edd and Eddy Big Picture Show. It was hilarious. I've seen it so many times. It's got some adult jokes in there as well, like one in particular. It taught me the word sextant and what that is. But it's also a very funny word, and they acknowledge the adult joke in that, and I was like, wow, they actually did that in a Cartoon Network thing. That was cool. Those were the days. Oh, sometimes you just hear about these and you imagine them and you just want to travel back in time to when you were a kid watching it on Cartoon Network. Oh. Khan says, did you watch Samurai Jack? No, I always wanted to watch Samurai Jack, but we never had the channel. In America, I think it was all on Cartoon Network, but in the UK, Samurai Jack was on Toonami or CNX, and we never had that channel, so we weren't able to watch it, sadly. But I did many, many years ago, like 10 years ago now, I think. Many, many years ago, I think like 10 years ago now, I think. I actually... Was it about 10 years ago? Yeah, about 10 years ago. Hold on. You guys still here? Oh, there you go. Great. My screen crashed on this webpage, so I thought something happened. Anyway, yeah, I really did want to watch Samurai Jack and stuff, but like I said, just didn't have the channel for it. So, but 10 years ago, I did actually watch the first season, was it? But it's harder to watch the first season of these very episodic episodes just on DVD or whatever. It's easier to watch it when they're on TV and you're a kid and you're waiting for your favorite show to come on. Then it's better. Yeah, I did want to watch season 5. I heard that's where it got violent and they gave it a proper definitive ending, but it's sad that I never got to see that because I got to see the original show first before I see season 5, you know, to really appreciate it. That would have been a really cool feeling though if I did get to watch Samurai Jack as a kid and then I got to see the season 5 where it came back, but sadly I didn't get to. Wolverine51 says, thoughts on the next Jurassic World movie? It looks like it's just the same as what we got before. Just repackaged and everything, so I don't know. I don't really have any expectations for it. I'm just waiting for the Superman movie, to be honest with you. I love Samurai Jack. Here in America, we love that character. Yeah, a lot of people love that character. I remember I once did stay up very late at night, like about 12 o'clock in the morning or something when I was a kid, which when you're a kid is very, very late. And Samurai Jack somehow came on Cartoon Network when on the normal daytimes it wouldn't. So I watched an episode of it there, and I thought that was pretty cool. But it was a bit goofier than I thought it was going to be, going by the TV ads and everything. But yeah, I did finish watching Daredevil Season 1 recently, because as I was watching Born Again, I felt like going back to Season 1 of Daredevil, and I did finish watching Season 1. It's great. I'm on Season 2 now. I'm on Season 2, Episode 3. That's what I'm watching next. Jake says, I love that character. Here in Canada, he's popular as well. Oh, cool. The Dark Lord says, have you ever watched Rick and Morty? When the show focuses on its multiverse plot, it can be extremely good, and when it does episodic episodes, some can be good to outright bad, says the Dark Lord. Yeah, I have seen Rick and Morty, but I can't remember what season I stopped at. Because you do that thing where you catch up on all those seasons on Netflix, and then Netflix doesn't have the rest, and then you just sit on it, and then essentially months and months later, Netflix say, look, now we've got the next season, and I'm like, but hang on, but what happened before? I can't remember. It was kind of like that, so I stopped watching, I think, for that reason. Would I need to watch Defenders to understand Season 3? I'm also watching it for the first time, says Wolverine51. There is something that happens in the Defenders that does connect to Season 3. So yeah, Defenders, I did a Let's Binge Watch video on it. I thought it was very mediocre. But yes, there is something in there that I think does add to Season 3. So I would recommend that you do watch it. Just so you know, the show is not great, but the characters are very good, and I do really enjoy Charlie Cox again. He was by far the best out of all of them, and just watching it for him is worth it, I'd say. Big Bash says, is quoting me, the Defenders is painfully average. Eric Carter. Didn't I say, yeah, you can quote me on that? So yeah, I pulled a Human Torch from Deadpool Wolverine before he pulled it when I said, and you can quote me. And I quoted it. It's funny how you guys remember these parts of my videos where I completely forget. I forgot about that until you just said it. Then it sounded familiar. You know what? Let's just end the stream when it's 2 hours. I've been here for this long. We might as well just let it be a usual 2-hour stream. Oh. Joshman says, Eric, I was telling you the release date in Zootopia 2 is coming out in November. Yeah, that's very soon. I wonder what the production was like. I hope it's not another Moana 2, where it was a Disney Plus show, which they turned into a movie. The Time Shouter says, even when Eric has had no sleep, he still manages a 2-hour stream. Yeah, I don't know how I'm doing that, but I am having fun chatting with you guys, talking about all these older cartoons from my childhood and stuff. It's just so nice. If anything, it made me feel like, how about I don't watch Daredevil Season 2 after this, and how about I watch some of my old favourite cartoons? That's what it made me feel like. Khan says he just loves the stream, and we all love the stream as well, Eric. Well, I don't love the stream as much as I love you guys who are joining me on the stream. So yeah. Eric, how does it feel knowing you've been doing YouTube for 17 years now? It's a cool feeling, but it also... There's a lot of change that's happened over that years, not just with me personally, but also with YouTube as a platform. And I also think about how easy we used to have it back in the day, and how now we have it so much harder, like in terms of YouTube's like copyright systems and stuff. That's always on my mind when I'm making videos. Now they've made monetization trickier as well. Spirit Hero says, can we all appreciate Eric for gathering the courage to watch even the trashiest of movies for us? That is true, because I could have, if I wasn't doing it for you guys, I could have spent time watching movies or shows that I actually know are good, rather than watching, you know, this other stuff. But for you guys, I do, you know, all this stuff, so yeah. Oh, that's nice. Big Bash is like, Eric truly is the GOAT. And Khan says, Eric is truly our captain. Well, like I said, the captain loves his crew. Jake says, to be fair, Snow White probably isn't worse than the Lion King remake. Well, if you watch my video where I talk about Snow White, the one I put up just about a couple hours ago, I actually say it's not the worst Disney remake. $10 left for the stream. Yeah, I actually thought this was actually going to go further across. Turns out it hasn't. That's okay. I always say, we only do what you guys can. If you can't, then you can't. So that's perfectly fine. But I appreciate what you guys have done. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Gal Gadot singing is definitely going to haunt. Is going to haunt Eric. Yeah. Well, I won't let her, won't let her get in my head that easily. Jake says, yeah, I saw your review. Great job. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Thanks, bud. Spirit Hero says, I do love the versus videos between the classic Disney movies and the stupid live action ones. Yeah, it's like we all know who the winner's going to be, but that's kind of the cathartic thing, isn't it? Is to watch the comparison. So yeah. Jake says, The Lion King remake is my personal least favorite remake of all time. Yeah, I can actually totally see that as well. The Dark Lord says, considering he watched Megamind 2 for the G Gamer, for sure. For G Gamer, for sure, yeah. Is G Gamer still in the chat, or has he left? Just curious. Spirit Hero says, see you next week, everyone. Oh, I'll miss you, Spirit Hero. I'll definitely see you next week as well. Take care, buddy. Wolverine says, my least favourite was the Mulan remake. Yeah, that wasn't good either. Khan says, what is the worst live action in your opinion? Ooh, that's a good question. It probably would be The Lion King. But I'm trying to think back to the scores I've given them, because I tend to forget the scores. But yeah, that one was just insultingly bad, that was. So yeah, I'd say probably that one. Peter's Dragon remake was actually decent, though, in my opinion. I've heard people say that, yeah. And I did like The Jungle Book. I thought that was actually pretty good as well. It was nice. For me, it's nice to have that on in the background. At least at the time it was. Thoughts on the live-action Scooby movies written by James Gunn? Yeah, they're not for me. The first one was crap, especially because of the thing with Scrappy Doo, and I thought the jokes were just too edgy to the point that it just felt like it wasn't Scooby-Doo. But Scooby-Doo 2, I thought, found a much better balance, I thought, and I thought there were a lot more jokes that worked, and the characters did feel more in character. So yeah. They made Mufasa's death funny somehow. Yeah, they did. And they also made Simba's scream, his yell for his father there. They made that also funny as well. Joshman says, Eric, do you think Disney is going to screw up on Zootopia 2? Because for me, I've been very skeptical and very worried and nervous of what they're going to do with the sequel. Yeah, I think it's hard not to feel nervous about Disney right now, given the state and the quality of their movies and just the attitude they seem to have for their own products, essentially. It's hard not to feel nervous, but you're just going to have to wait and see. I really like the first Zootopia, but I've not seen it since it came out. I think we saw it a couple times or a few times when it came out at home. But yeah, I've not seen it since, and for me, if it's not great, it's not really a huge deal to me. But we'll see what happens. It's all a matter of waiting. In the meantime, we've got a lot of other movies to kind of like pay attention to, like Superman, Fantastic Four, Jurassic World, the next Karate Kid Legends movie, which I actually saw the trailer for that in the cinema when I saw Snow White. And I saw the Lilo and Stitch trailer there, and the How to Train Your Dragon remake trailer there as well. So a lot of remakes showing up on the trailer for the trailers for Snow White. I was especially surprised to find the How to Train Your Dragon remake there as well, all things considered. Charles says, the live-action Scooby-Doo movie freaked me out as a kid. It didn't freak me out, because it looked so obviously fake, especially those demons that were there. But yeah, it was really quite ridiculous, I think. I think it got too stupid, and it just felt like it was too mean-spirited for what Scooby-Doo and his friends were. Wolverine says, the Karate Kid movie trailer looks good, honestly. Yeah, I did a trailer reaction on my Patreon and my YouTube memberships. It's only $1 on Patreon to gain access to my trailer reactions, and you get your name in the credits of the video, of my videos. But I actually reacted to the Karate Kid trailer there. I actually really enjoyed it. Wolverine says, speaking of that, did you finish Cobra Kai? Yeah, I have finished Cobra Kai a while back now. It was really good. I loved how it ended. How you find out that the story somehow goes full circle back to Johnny. I did not expect that, but it was exactly what I wanted, so I was very happy with how they did that. I was extremely happy. Eric, what do you want to see more? The Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 4 from Sam Raimi? Spider-Man 4 from Sam Raimi. By far, I want to see that more. I want to see that more than the upcoming Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Khan says, honestly, I really enjoyed Eric Kai. Joshman says, Eric, you definitely need some rest. Eric, you definitely need some rest. You definitely need it. Yeah, I know I do. Do I look tired to you guys? Do I? We need Spider-Man 4 with Toby and Sam. Yeah, we do. Wait, Eric, each horror movie are you forward to watch? Mine is Sinners, Final Destination, Bloodlines, and 28 Years Later. Well, I've not seen any of the 28 weeks or days movies, so for me, I can't say I'm looking forward to that. Sinners, I've heard some not so good stuff going on behind the scenes with that in terms of test screenings and stuff. Apparently, it's not as scary as test screeners want it to be, from what I hear. I think that's the situation, but don't quote me on that. I've not read the article. I'm just going off of what I've heard some other people say. And also, Final Destination Bloodlines, it could be a good sequel or it could just be a lame one, but it'll be fun to see another Final Destination movie. Do you think Disney is going to pull a Moana 2 on Pixar's Coco 2? I do not know. We will have to see. Charlton says 28 Days Later is good, but the cinematography looks like it was shot on a Samsung. I've got a Samsung right here. I do. I think Kraven would be a good villain for a Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. I don't think they're going to put Kraven in there, especially after the standalone movie. I think they've tainted Kraven. Look at that. We've literally got like about a minute and a half right now. So get your questions in. If there are any last minute super chats or Streamlabs chats you want to do as well, now is also the time. I've got my book and my notebook, my pen here, ready to write them down. Big Bass, I think Kraven would be a good villain for a Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. Yeah, I don't know. He wanted to do Vulture, didn't he, Sam Raimi, I think. Khan says, don't tempt Time Shadow. I wasn't thinking of tempting him, but if this is one of those times where he's tempted, by all means. Like I said, I don't mind it. Favorite Pixar villain? Oh, G-Gamer, you're back. I thought you had left for a bit. Favorite Pixar villain? Oh, I'll say Zurg. I know he's not technically a villain, but he seems like a badass Darth Vader type villain. Wolverine 51 says, thoughts on Gen V or The Boys Season 5? Gen V started out weak, but I thought it felt like it was just a teen drama show at the beginning. But then it got significantly better as the episodes went. And also, The Boys Season 5, I thought The Boys Season 5 was just nothing special. It had some really good scenes in it, for sure. Homelander was great as usual. But it felt like they padded the season out. I heard rumors that Season 5 was supposed to be the last one, but I think then the studio asked them, Amazon asked them to do an extra season. So season 5 to me really did feel like it was padded out. It's like everything they wanted to do in season 5, they could have done it in half the episodes, but it felt like they just stretched it out. And I think that wasn't particularly good, quite frankly, how they did that. I thought it was a lot of massive waste of time there, I thought. Oh, by the way, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate that. Okay, I think is it now. Oh, you mean season 4, says Charleston. Yeah, the most recent season of The Boys, yeah, was yeah, season 4, yeah. That was I felt like a lot of that was just the weakest season because it felt like they really did just pad it out to make it longer because they were told to make, you know, an extra season. So yeah, I wasn't too fond of that season, but it had some good stuff in it, but it was definitely by far the weakest of the seasons. So yeah, and I didn't like what the little revelation of Kimiko. I always like how she's a silent character, but the way they did that, I was like, come on, if you're going to do that, make it have more of an impact, but it really didn't. The Time Shadow says, well, maybe just this one then, lol. £3 Streamlabs chat. Thank you very much, Time Shadow, and I really appreciate that you're doing it through Streamlabs, of all things. Because like I said, 100% of the donation comes to me that way. As opposed to super chats where YouTube can take a cut. But the fact that you do it on Streamlabs chats, like I said, I always appreciate that. For the rest of you that are not aware, Streamlabs chats are always in the description and in the pinned comment section. So if you always want to do it, that's the best way to do it. And if you do it through that way, that's where you find the links. Anyway, guys, it was an absolute blast chatting with you guys again. Even though I'm exhausted, I still had a lot of fun speaking to you guys. So I'm sorry it was only one story today, but like I said, I was tired, my mouse was broken, I just got a video uploaded on YouTube for you guys, so I didn't know, I didn't feel like I had the energy to set up a full-on live stream, and I didn't ask you guys for stories this time round either, so there wasn't time for it, so I apologize for that. In regards to the donations, thank you for those that have donated and have like given some donations, and I always appreciate that. Just know, donating through Streamlabs can be done at any time. You don't just have to do it during these streams. So if you have any other, like if you feel like you can contribute to the Great Mouse Rescue Fund, then you can do it anytime, even after the stream. But regardless, that is basically the end for this stream. Big Bash says the stream was still great. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I need to seriously get some rest. So thank you guys very, very much. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to be logging out of YouTube and everything. I won't be responding to any of your emails or messages just yet. I'll try to do that tomorrow once I've cleaned some stuff off my slate. But thank you all so, so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I will catch all of you very soon. Thanks again, everyone, for your donations and for just being the best viewers a YouTuber could ask for. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch all of you very soon. Take care. Oh, and be sure to watch that Snow White video if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, let the video play again in the background, because if you let the video get played from beginning to end, it really does help, like I said, with getting the video recommended on YouTube's algorithm. So yeah, feel free to do that anytime you want to. That would be very helpful. So anyway, that's enough of me. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.